We are back with another podcast. I got that man, Big Blue.
Hey, yo, what's good, everyone? It's been a minute, a hot minute, but as always, I'm here.
For real. And we got that man, Black.
Yo, what's good? What's good out here in the Michigan?
Dirty.
We're about to talk about, quote unquote, how to talk and interact with people because a lot of people have this issue, surprisingly, even though we talk to people every single day. As usual, you can catch the show on the YouTube channel. Links in the description. You can listen to it on iTunes if you have an iPhone, Google Play if you have an Android phone, and Stitcher Radio. Links to all that jazz in the description. But this was actually a topic by you, Blue. I just recorded it. And yeah, this was yours, dude.
Oh, snap.
And because I forgot you branched off on another topic we were talking about a couple weeks back, probably like a month back. And yeah, a lot of people apparently struggle with talking with other people, especially, like a certain way, whether you're in like a corporate environment or, you talk different with your family and friends. But
I can't remember now.
Yeah, man. So it's all about, I think we were on the topic of like networking with people and whatnot as well. And people do find it really difficult to interact with certain types of people. But if I can give any piece of advice, especially when it comes to everybody kind of overall, yes, you do have to watch what you say and the context in which you say it. But at the end of the day, at its core values, at its foundation, I think it's healthy and important to be yourself as much as possible. If you are a kind person, wise, intelligent, just act like it. Just continue to talk how you normally talk, and there will be no surprises to the person you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to act brand new or act a certain way to certain people, that might cause some problems in the long run. So I think as long as you can be you when you are talking and interacting with people, you'll be a lot well off, because the next time someone catches up to you or meets you or whatever, they won't be like, who were you last week? You know what I'm saying? You won't. They won't be just all of a sudden different. But it is, at the same time though, obviously I talk to you guys a lot differently than I do with anybody else. I'm gonna talk to my boss a certain way. I'm gonna take my time and form out, my words and whatnot to say exactly what I want to say, because that person could obviously take offense to what I'm saying. So I don't want that to happen because of reasons. Same thing with my mom. I got to talk to her a certain way. Same thing with my grandma. I got to talk to her a certain way, even though that actually might not be English sometimes. But it is what it is. And we got that man, Jay, in the podcast.
What up, though?
Not much, just we're talking about quote unquote, how to talk and interact with people. And Blue actually brought it up. I think we can hit this topic on the head, or nail on the head, or whatever the expression it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Nah, man, you gotta curb stomp that bitch with the Timbs. That's how you do it.
Of course, shout outs to Timberlands. As usual.
Keep up the good work.
I actually saw you were sporting them on last Friday. They were pretty clean.
Hey man, I gotta clean my junk though, and I just bought. It's funny. I just bought Casey some Timbs, and then while I was watching her try them on, I was like, "Yep, it's official."
Oh God,
this relationship is now official.
Finally, it only took like 18
6
years
later.
Right?
But when she put them Timbs on, that's what I knew.
But yeah, Blue, let's go on and pass it off to you, since this was your topic. Obviously, what do you have? You have any advice for anybody about how to talk and interact with people?
Now, it's like you. Whoa, that's a problem. It's like you mentioned before. We're trying to have conversations with people. Just like legit. Just be yourself, and if you're weird in some type of way, then you may want to calm that down just a little bit. But honestly, it just depends on, the situation. Like you mentioned, when you're talking to your boss, speak a certain way toward your boss, at least in a professional way toward your boss, until your boss gives you the okay to talk some type of way towards him. And it really just depends on the conversation. Because, I mean, when I'm at work, I mean, I don't talk at work because, I mean, I'm more of an observer when it comes to people. I tend to not really say much until I have a general feel of everybody in the room, more or less. Because sometimes when I say some shit, it may come off the wrong way if you take it the wrong way, and I'd rather not deal with that. I just talk. I mean, I just try to observe everybody, see how they are, get a better understanding of the conversations that they take part in, and all that good stuff, and go on from there. Um, when it comes to your boss, like I said, talk to your boss in a professional manner. Try to keep the conversation, like personal conversations, to a minimum, um, and all that good stuff. Unless he gives you the clear that it's all right to talk to them any certain type of way, because I mean that stuff can cost you your job real quick if you're just in here like talking like you some hood rat from Atlanta and all that slang and all that junk. Like they'll tear you down. They'll look at you crazy real quick. But like with my boss, he's just as vulgar and just laid back as the rest of us. So we're just a chill group, but that's just how he presents himself towards us and allows us to have that open conversation. Now, would I talk to him about how ridiculous these customers are? No. Well, I talk to him about, how much I feel like, just cussing these customers out or hanging up the phone on them or just closing the ticket out, even though, they gave me some lip? Nah, because, I mean, that's still a business. I do that with my coworkers, but not the CEO of the company. But I
I
mean, I'll go ahead.
no, I was just about to add in there. A lot of times, me personally, I find that I kind of alter my mind, I guess, like depending on the type of person I'm talking to. Like I'll almost start to like mimic that person. Like if he, like even when I'm talking to you guys
Yes.
sometimes and we get into those deep intellectual conversations sometimes, like that's when I got my anime glasses on and I do the glasses push and then we could really get down to business, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh man.
even if I'm talking to my southern brothers, I'll go on to get a little slang out in there so he can understand a little bit, We
Yeah.
up in here in these streets. It just kind of depends on where it's at. If I'm talking to my boss, I'm all of a sudden speaking as best as I possibly can and
Right.
whatnot. So, you
Right.
know.
It really. I guess it's like I don't want to say it's necessarily changing who you are, but I don't know.
It's like speaking a different language without like speaking a different language, kinda.
Yeah, it's all about knowing what, like, pulling out the right words in the right situations. And I think that's
Yeah.
probably where people feel like they struggle when it comes to stuff like networking. Um, because I think people struggle with the idea of like selling themselves. Like, that whole concept of elevator idea and like 2 minutes go. And people like feel like they're on the spot all the time and they have to always present themselves in like this perfect light where I'm an amazing entrepreneurial, hardworking, blah 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 blah. Um, and I don't know. It's one of those things where it's definitely hard for sure to network and sell someone on the idea that you're a single valuable person. I mean, that even goes as far as like job interviews. I know a lot of people struggle with going into a job interview and successfully convincing someone that they're the right fit for a job. And it's interesting to me because it's one of those things where it's like it's that you need, and nobody in like structured educational settings teaches us like even like the remote basics of how to do it. Like like most of school and academia is spent learning how to listen to people, but never learning how to talk to people. Which is, I mean, unless you take like a speech class, of course, something like that. But you know, even then, it's I don't know. I think it's interesting that like a lot of the really vital life skills that you need, we just kind of leave up to fate on whether or not you figure it out, and hopefully you do before the bills get too high up on you. Because if
True
not,
that.
then you kind of SOL.
Yeah. Yeah, especially towards interviews, I really think. Well, towards interviews, I think like literally, it just really boils down to the confidence in what you can do. Because I mean, at that point, is if you're once you show that you're confident in what you can do, and you explain or go into detail, not too much detail, of your capabilities, and back that up with that confidence, then I mean, there's really not much more you can do at that point. I mean, yeah, you can kiss ass, but if you don't have the experience, I mean, again, I don't know how it completely works out in corporate America, because I mean, based on TV shows and the media, yeah, if you kiss ass, then even if you don't know shit, you can get the job. But
I mean, that is true to it. It's all about how you. I mean, like you said, it's all about how you present yourself. Like,
yeah,
it's one thing to walk into a job and they're asking for 10 years of experience and you only have 6. But like let's use something a little more relevant to our age group. Like, if they want 3 to 4 years of experience, but you have 1 or 2, it's easier to convince somebody that those 3 to 4 years you can make up than McDonald's applying to an IT position. And like, yeah, no, I could totally code everything. Like what your experience is going to inspire confidence in that potential employer that you actually know how to do this. Because
all right,
me, job interviews are all about getting to be confident that you can do whatever it is that you said you're able to do, whether it's true or not. You just got to get them to be confident about it. Like, you know, if you're applying for a job and they want, I mean, like every job out here, they want 3 years experience with 12 years in school and your past 13 pay stubs and blah. If they want all that stuff, cool. But it's all about how you tell them whether or not you're able to do that for them, and also how you present yourself as an asset. Because I've also noticed that a lot of people don't know how to convince people that they can be an asset to their company.
right.
And that, then heck, I wouldn't hire. I wouldn't care who you are. I wouldn't hire if you can't convince me that you're valuable. I'm about to hire you. Like, who are you?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that really stood out to me. Well, stood out to one of the employers that I had, or the interview that I had with. I feel a sneeze coming. Shit. Damn it! It come out. Anyways. I think that was one of the main things that really stuck out for me when it came to one of the other companies that I had applied for. That I'm pretty sure I got to the last phase. It really came down to me and some other guy, I think, if I recall. But like literally compared to the experience that I had compared to like most other people that apply to like IT jobs, I have like literally no experience. My internship was at a elementary school, and I was literally cleaning projectors and resetting deep freezes on the computers, and reconnecting the Bluetooth on the smart boards. That was literally the vast majority of the internship. And unlike other people that will get like internships with freaking Progressive or like some other corporate company and stuff like that, who obviously has more experience and knows what they're doing. And well, not saying that I didn't know what I was doing, but just pretty much had more experience than I did. But the way that I presented myself and saying how, like, I'm a hardworking person. Everybody that I've worked with say that I'm a hardworking person. And when it comes to learning certain things, I actually take the time and try to learn it the best that I can, the most efficient way that I can. And, provide with, like, actually have confidence in the experience that I had with my internship, laid out all the things that would be relevant to this job. And the dude was just like, yo, I really like this guy. You're going to hear from our HR guy real soon. And then I'm pretty sure that it just came up to the last choice where it was either going to be me or some other guy. And the guy, and I guess the CIO or, the supervisor of the whole thing, he just decided to go with the other guy. More than likely because he had more experience than I did. But I mean, at the end of the day, I presented myself well enough that even though there could have been 100 more people that had more experience than I did, they moved me forward because of how I presented myself and how I, explained in detail what I've done and had confidence in everything that I've done and showing that I'm willing to learn more and all that good stuff. That's really the most that I can do. And that's like things that I try to tell like my girlfriend when it comes to interviews and stuff like that. You've done up to that point, you've done everything that you can do. Or everything that you've done, you've pretty much done. There's no, oh, let me go back in time and edit this time period and fill it in with something that, that shows that, is a little more appealing. You can't do that. Whatever you've done, that's what you've done. And once you saw it, and all you can do is just, dish that out and advertise that to whoever you're interviewing with. And then from that point, it's either you know what you know or you don't. So have confidence in what you know. And if you don't know something, express that, yeah, I'm willing to learn that stuff if you're actually willing to learn that stuff. And then from there, I mean, that's pretty much all you can do. Just keep a smile on your face until they say, oh, we sorry to reject you. Be like, all right, well, appreciate it. And once you send off that message after getting that rejection email, be like, yo, fuck them. Time to go to the next interview.
Yeah, I think that's another important key when it comes to talking to people, especially in like an interview setting, is you kind of want to be, I guess, more real than not, because if you can like fake it till you make it all the way through the hiring process and whatnot, and you actually land the job and they expect you to do certain things and you can't do it, and that's a really bad look on you.
Fire your ass real quick, especially down here.
No, like there's nothing wrong with being like, you don't have to be proud. Well, I mean, you have to be proud of what you can do, but you also don't have to like lie your way and cheat your way into every single little thing too, because that can also backfire. Yes, you'll probably get something in the short run, but in the long run, they could be very detrimental to whatever it is you're like pursuing and whatnot. So you just got to be careful, and that's important for interacting with most people anyway. I would hope my circle and friends and family, I hope they're real as much as they can be, because it just shows like integrity and a certain type of person. Like you know when someone's like lying or like being real as they can be. I mean, you can just like hear it in their voice. You don't like even without looking at them, because I have a friend, he just lies for no reason, like, and it's like why? Like, we've been friends for a few years now. I know exactly how you're living and whatnot in your situation. Why do you have to make these lies? Like, it just makes no sense to me. Like we're older now. Like, who are you trying to impress? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not high school anymore. So you don't have to be somebody else. Just be yourself. I mean, what is this? I don't have to have this other image to you to like and appreciate you, because I'm going to like you for being you. And if you are real, then we straight. You know what I'm saying? If you're a likable person and you want to act like somebody you're actually not, and the whole world knows it, then I'm probably not gonna be as close as I would like to be with you in that case. But yeah, I think being real is very important, and kind of being transparent is important too, because it just makes life a whole lot easier in the long run anyway. It gives
It
you less
does.
stress and all that. So
I just don't do it. Like I really don't. Like at work, I'm pretty sure these people are like, yo, this dude is like mad quiet. He doesn't say anything, doesn't contribute to the conversation, none of that good jazz. And then I was talking to one of my coworkers about some personal stuff, just because pretty much everybody was saying at my job when we were having lunch, or not even lunch, we were just at the bar one night, and they was just like, yeah, he'd be a good person to talk to because we had similar situations. And I was talking to him, and he was just like, I knew, like he had an idea of who I was, where I was coming from, why I'm so quiet, and all that good jazz, because he was the same way. I was like, all right, cool. See, look at that. We already clicking. And I've only been here 2 weeks, and you work down the hall from me, and I see you for 5 seconds every day. And we already clicking. It's just as easy as that. But I mean, that's just me. It's not always a bad thing. It's definitely a difficult thing. Well, for other people, it's going to make things a little difficult. But I mean, it's not the worst thing unless you're like legitly not taking part in a conversation, which is pretty much what this job doesn't want. People that's just going to be like outsiders. Like, this is a family oriented type company, or so they've been telling me.
Man,
And like,
honestly though, like on like a deviation, like a side note, I hate when places try to say we're a family oriented place. My parents don't pay me. My family don't pay. Like, this, don't try to tell me, oh, we're like a family here, because good and well, if we were family, I could come in a little late and tell you, hey, I'm sorry, my girlfriend or wife had this problem going on, and you'd be like, you know what? I understand you. I understand your life. It's cool. Good and well, if you go in a late because of something that went on at home, well, I don't really know how that's our problem. That's going to be a discipline for, like, what? No, we ain't family.
I would agree with you, but this job actually does.
I mean, you work in a land of pixies, though. You got like the rare exception. So
yeah, because usually when they mean family oriented in any other company, that's literally like the CEO has like his sons and daughters working for his company. That's the only
like,
instance
like
where it's family
like I'm related to somebody here.
Like, for real, like, oh, my dad got me this job. That's the only family oriented shit ever.
Yeah, because otherwise it's definitely just, oh, we see that you were late 2 days in a row. Well, I see. Well, if you're late again, we'll probably have to let you go. Like, but he's in the hospital. Like, tough break. Like, Nick,
Yeah.
what? And I mean, it's. I mean, obviously that's like a dramatization, but I mean, it's like that for some people where you don't feel secure in your job and in your employment situation, because for they are willing to cut ties with you at almost a moment's notice, despite however much work or how you've put into their company. That's why our generation, as millennials or whatever, we get such a bad reputation, because we figured out as a generation
We don't need this.
And then just go somewhere else and get paid more for the experience I got working with you. And everybody's like, well, millennials aren't loyal. Well, y'all fire people at the drop of a dime. So no, I'm not loyal. I'm trying to pay these bills. I can't be loyal because you're not loyal to me. So, it's definitely one of those things where, in my opinion, the whole family, we're a family oriented place, 9 times out of 10, it's a trap to get you. And not even to let you let your guard down, because I don't think there's any company out there that is hiring people just to fire them, because that'd be crazy. But I definitely think it's like one of those false sense of security things where it's like, oh, okay, well, we hung out a couple times, and that this is going on, and then you come in with one issue or something like I-85 collapses and you can't get to work on time, and all of a sudden the family atmosphere is gone. And And it's just like, well, I know they finally get to work, but you got to account for these things. I got to account for a bridge catching on fire and burning down. Okay. As long as I know. I know that was on me. I thought that was just on the, who did they say burned down the bridge? Some random drug guy or something?
Homeless guy.
Yeah. Which is
like
most likely false.
Like, seriously, how?
I mean, like, after all these years, like, I'm sure plenty of people have been, like, smoking and lighting fires under that bridge. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
a cover up, like 100%. Like, there were materials that were not supposed to be under that bridge, and someone doesn't want to take responsibility for it.
Marta paid some sabotage team to burn it down to drive up their numbers. I will preach that to the end. The bridge super quick. Like, this is Atlanta, Georgia. We're talking about. We've had people working on one section of highway for 10 years, and all of a sudden I-85 goes down and they fix it in like 3.5 weeks. That ain't normal. And Marta is even at North, very quick diversion, but even at North Springs, the quote unquote exclusive AT&T parking lot is now randomly open for people, for the general public to.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, yo, y'all planned this. Like, this whole thing has been a scheme to get there. I mean, they got their numbers up though, because, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I guess just to get kind of back on topic, Blue, you are definitely that 1 out of 10% that has a true family-oriented company. Because I remember we were texting or whatever, and you said you were like going out to lunch with your CEO. I'm like, bruh, like, let me join.
Right? Like, I don't know what my CEO looks like.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Like, we actually have, conversation. Like, most of the reasons why I come home later than usual. Well, sometimes, the tickets get overflown, but that was like the past. It hasn't been like that the past 2 weeks, but recently it's mainly because we actually sit and have conversations, and then I look at the time and it's like, oh snap, it's almost 9:30 and I got off at 8, and just like legit just having conversations with the CEO.
And you definitely work in the land of unicorns and fairies, because
I was about to put him on blast. Maybe I shouldn't.
Like, it's good. It's good though. Like, if you building up that friendship with the CEO, that comes in handy, because now you're. But that is so not the norm in most corporate places. Like, even really friendly corporate places, it's normally like, yeah, we poker on Thursdays. You want to join? It's very rarely like, yeah, the CEO takes us out to lunch, and we know his wife, and we eat dinner at his house on Tuesdays because she has Taco Tuesdays. Like that. You're working at Atlanta Unicorns and Fairies, and you need to hold on to it.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as the original topic goes, I just want to piggyback on what you were saying, TJ, about just being real when it comes to talking to people, especially like your friends. Like, I don't like phony stuff. I don't like phony people. I don't like when people lie to me. I don't like being deceived. It's just straight up like that. Like, if you tell me one thing and then you going behind my back and saying other shit, then clearly I'm just not going to talk to you anymore.
Look, I have a confession. I've been lying this whole time. I'm actually 5'8". We're all shorter than you think.
Hey, I want to say something. I don't know if I missed it or not. I had to dip for a second, but there is a time you switch up kind of your character, like you said, Jay. When you at work, it's a little different than talking to your homeboys. But the thing about it is, like, when I'm at work talking to my supervisors, I talk to my supervisors just like I talk to my coworkers. But it's like when I get into a customer's house, that's when you kind of like put on that face. But it depends on where you at, because it also depends on what color you are too. You black, you around black people, you kind of talk like they got a junky ass house, they smoking weed, you kind of talk like they do. You know what I'm saying? You in somebody's house, maybe white, Asian, something like that, you kind of switch it up and be proper and shit like that. It is what it is. So it's time to, you know what I'm saying, you just got to know how to talk to a person. You could be the same person. You just got to know how to flow with that person's kind of personality at sometimes, you know what I'm saying, in a professional environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of my nigga, you
Heck
say my
yeah.
bruh. Like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, you be dapped up, you know what I'm saying. Me out here in Michigan, they got a lot of weed dispensaries out here, and I swear every customer I go to smoke weed. So, you know what I'm
Sheesh.
saying? When I come in their house, they be asking me if I want to blaze or not. I'm like, yo, I don't smoke. I appreciate you for asking.
Oh man.
That's crazy. How you gonna be at work and people like, yo, I know you on the clock, but you trying to light up real
You
quick?
want to light up, yeah? That's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
man. Those type of people, be be normal with them. But when it comes to like other people, I mean, it was the same thing when I was working with my other job with freaking Comcast. When I got them black customers, I kept it a little proper. But sometimes I'd be like, yeah, man, and throw a little bruhs in there. And then anytime they tell me the crazy stuff that's been going on, I'd be like, yo, that's OD. Like, that's crazy, son. And when it comes to the white people, and I'm like, man,
Yeah, you're like,
that is something
okay,
different.
sir. Okay, sir, we have all this correct. It looks like your work order is correct, so we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna make sure we got every last detail there.
Exactly.
You're not
Oh,
dragging any words. You're very
Nah, just keeping it.
articulate at this point. You know what I'm saying? So it did you around your black customers, and you're just like, man, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Like, straight up, dog. Let me tell you how this is going to go. It be like that
oh
sometimes.
man. Yeah, no, the code switching is like super real. It's actually funny because it's one of the things where you can tell that it's like definitely a cultural thing. Because I remember probably 3 years ago now, well, I mean, it may come off as racist, but whatever. A bunch of white news reporters called out President Obama on like the way that he greeted certain people. Because of course, he's like a white senator. I was like, yo, what's up? And,
Mhm.
they dapping up and stuff. And there was one lady who was like, I just don't understand, why can't he be that friendly with everybody? And the one black reporter on the network was like, you do things differently when you're around certain people. And for the life of them, they just couldn't understand like the concept of you act differently when you know that there's a level of comfort that you share with people. And I think that holds true even when you're like talking to people in professional settings. Like, once you're cool with your boss, you know that there are some things that you can get away with saying. Like,
Yeah.
not saying like you can cuss and be like, yo man, F off. If you that kind of cool with your boss, then I mean, good for you. I haven't seen anything like that before. But there's two where like around your boss, you could say, man, I'm just real frustrated with these customers because I'm out here, I'm doing my best, and they keep bringing all these problems in, whatever the case may be, and your boss would understand. It's like, yeah, I know you work hard, I know you're doing your best, just say, but you gotta make sure you got that comfort first. Do not be one of those people that assumes everybody's their friend right off the bat, because
Yeah, nah.
goes well. It almost statistically can't end well. It's just like, yeah, nah,
I gotta
I'm still your boss.
yeah, definitely. I gotta and just to piggyback off of what you just said as well, and since we're on the topic of how to, talk and interact with people as well, I also think on the other hand, it's important to learn how to understand different types of people when you're talking and interacting with them as well.
Oh, for
I
sure.
think it's definitely important to become like adaptable to whatever situation is at hand, because I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit, I mean, we're saying the same thing, but I feel it's just a lot easier to connect with that person, you know what I'm saying? Like if I talk to like a foreign person or something like that, someone who clearly didn't have their, first language is English and whatnot, you want to make an effort to try to understand and help them out. If they're like asking a question or like directions or something like that, then I think it's important to take time out of your day, pause for a minute, and like really listen to those key words to find out what that person is asking as well, things of that nature. And yeah, man, I just wanted to throw that in there too. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, just on the opposite end. But obviously, if you're not willing to be a more open, vulnerable, understanding person, then I suggest, for those of you listening, I suggest you work on that as well, because just like Joey and Blue said, not everyone you talk to is gonna be your friend and whatnot, and it's the same vice versa. So just definitely keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, I'd also say, like, as an addendum, there's some people who will never like seek to be your friend. Like I know of a lot of people who who are used to making friends with people. Them or heard like through the grapevine about them that they've been really frustrated at work because it seems like their boss is just giving them the cold shoulder. And there's some people who just don't want to move beyond like a purely professional relationship where it's like, yes, we exchange pleasantries, but they really have no intention of really being friendly. Like I don't know. I guess since we are kind of talking in circles, for me, the most important part of knowing how to talk to people is understanding the context in which you're speaking to them. Like if they're your boss, don't assume that your boss is automatically going to want to be your friend. It may happen. You may be like Blue, and you may end up in Narnia, and that's what's up. Great for you. But it is, like we said, it is definitely not the most common situation. But I also wouldn't want to like people to be disappointed that their boss or their manager or supervisor or whatever doesn't want to be friendly with them, because sometimes they just don't. Sometimes it's easier for people to be in charge if they like aren't friendly with you, or if they don't know a whole lot of personal details about you, because every once in a while as a leader you got to make the tough decisions where it's like, I know that you need hours or whatever, but we have to cut your hours this week, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's all about having enough savvy to understand who you're talking to, and like basically reading every conversation like a chess match. I can take this advantage here, and I can say this, and this, and I'll be good. And, just stuff like that. Just staying on your toes at all times.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how I do at work. Well, that, and I'm just trying to. I prefer to joke and kid around when I actually know what I'm doing, as opposed to seeming like I'm just a jokester at work and I don't put in much work. I don't put in much work, but I like to joke around a lot and all that stuff. Like, I'd rather, yeah.
Where it's like I'm mad quiet until I'm the best at my job, and then I'm the friendliest person in the world.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I actually love talking. I just need you to know that I'm good at my job first.
Yeah, because sure enough, I know when I was working at Chick-fil-A, I wasn't very good at, doing a lot of stuff. I was probably one of the, I did my job, but sometimes I wouldn't do the best job. But it wasn't like, I was purposefully not doing it. It was just I wasn't good at doing it. So once I started to understand more things and got the proper training from the sensei Jeff and my son Derek, thankfully for them, they actually helped me out in getting better. As I started getting better at what I was doing, then I was able to joke around more often, because I was able to joke and still put in the work that I needed to. And with this job, it just seems to be like a very, very difficult system, which is taking me a little longer to get in that mindset of being comfortable and knowing that, I can perform while still, kicking it with everybody. Like, I want to make sure that I'm at a stable place, and I don't know how long that's going to take, but yeah, no. Like, every time everybody's talking, I'm still like looking at tickets and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I stay focused on the conversations, but other times I'm just like, yeah, I got this ticket here, and I'm just trying to get it out the way or figure out how to solve it and all that good stuff. But that's just me when it comes to work.
But yeah, man. Well, I think we pretty much hit the gist of this topic. Hopefully it'll help out a lot of you guys listening to the podcast. But yeah, we're gonna go on and wrap up then. If no one else has anything else to say.
No, I think I'm straight.
Cool beans. Yeah. Again, I think we touched on the most important topics. But anyway, if you want to listen to the show on the go, iTunes for you iPhone people, Google Play for you Android people. You can also listen to the show on Stitcher Radio. And of course, you can listen to it on the YouTube channel. Links in the description as usual. We ain't complaining. Nah, I guess we don't really need that one.
Nah, I ain't complaining this time. Surprisingly. But I was gonna say something when you mentioned the iPhone people, because apparently it's like a gang at my job. iPhone users and the Galaxy users.
You got Team Apple and Team Samsung.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's unfortunate, but I'm just gonna let that one go.
Shoot them the podcast link. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I ain't got nothing else to say either, so I guess we are out.
All right.